These 5 motorcycle brands are abandoning American soil faster than tourists fleeing a natural disaster with emergency evacuation orders. From corporate betrayals to business decisions so catastrophically stupid, they defy basic economics. Here are 5 motor brands that are saying goodbye to America. We're starting our countdown at number 5 with Aprilia, the Italian drama queen that's been teasing American riders like a commitment-phobic ex-girlfriend who keeps showing up at parties uninvited. Aprilia spent decades promising American market expansion while delivering the motorcycle equivalent of empty campaign promises and broken New Year's resolutions. Their dealer network in America resembles a game of hide-and-seek where nobody's actually seeking. The hiding spots keep changing locations, and the rules were written by people who've never understood basic customer service principles. The Italian executives apparently thought American riders would be satisfied with sporadic availability and European-style customer service that operates on Mediterranean time schedules. Meanwhile, their competition was building comprehensive dealer networks and actually showing up to support their customers with parts, service, and warranty coverage that didn't require international law degrees to understand. The real reason Aprilia is fleeing America faster than vampires from garlic festivals isn't some noble business strategy that sounds impressive in boardroom presentations. It's because American emissions regulations make their engines about as compliant as teenagers asked to clean their rooms, requiring engineering modifications that cost more than most people's annual salaries and take longer to implement than geological formations. Their beautiful Italian V4 engines produce emissions that would make environmental protection agencies declare national emergencies, while their noise levels violate more local ordinances than a death metal concert in a retirement community. Meanwhile, American safety requirements demand more paperwork than immigration applications, more testing than NASA space missions, and more legal compliance than international arms treaties, making Aprilia's lawyers work overtime while charging fees that would make Swiss bankers blush. You bought an RS-V4 thinking you were getting exotic Italian performance engineering, but instead got exotic Italian headaches that would make immigration lawyers wealthy and therapists book extended vacations. Finding authorized service requires GPS coordinates that change monthly, a translator fluent in mechanical Italian, and possibly a private investigator with connections to international motorcycle smuggling operations. Your local mechanic looks at your Aprilia like it's an alien spacecraft that landed in his shop, while Aprilia-certified technicians are rarer than honest politicians and twice as expensive to consult. The service manual reads like ancient Italian poetry, written by engineers having nervous breakdowns, making routine maintenance feel like archaeological expeditions into mechanical mysteries. The few remaining dealers treat Aprilia parts like archaeological artifacts from lost civilizations, charging museum-quality prices for components that should be readily available, but apparently require diplomatic negotiations with the Italian government and possibly the Vatican for special blessing ceremonies. Aprilia's American business strategy resembles someone trying to run a restaurant by only opening on leap years during solar eclipses, then wondering why customer loyalty resembles their commitment to actually staying in the market long enough to build sustainable business relationships among American motorcycle enthusiasts who desperately want to support Italian engineering excellence. The RS-V4's brilliant V4 engine produces symphony-quality sounds that make angels weep with joy, but good luck finding anyone qualified to maintain it when something inevitably breaks, probably during the most inconvenient moment possible when you're furthest from civilization. If you thought Aprilia's half-hearted American commitment made them look pathetic, number 4 makes them look like dedicated patriots waving flags at 4th of July parades. MV Agusta treats America like a vacation destination. They visit occasionally when they remember we exist and aren't too busy counting European profits. MV Agusta's American presence is so sporadic, it makes Halley's Comet seem punctual and reliable by comparison. They show up with breathtakingly beautiful motorcycles that make angels weep with joy, then disappear faster than free pizza at a college dormitory during finals week, when students are surviving on caffeine and desperation. The few MV Agustas that make it to American shores are treated like visiting royalty, displayed in dealer showrooms behind velvet ropes, while customers are encouraged to admire from respectful distances without actually touching the sacred Italian machinery. The brutal truth behind MV Agusta's American exodus isn't romantic Italian passion that sounds poetic in motorcycle magazines. It's cold, hard mathematics that would make accountants weep. American market penetration requires advertising budgets larger than most countries' defense spending, dealer support networks more extensive than federal highway systems, and customer service infrastructure that costs more than space exploration programs, while generating profits smaller than lemonade, stands operated by entrepreneurial children. MV Agusta's business model works perfectly in Europe, where wealthy collectors appreciate mechanical art that occasionally functions, but American riders expect their expensive motorcycles to actually work consistently and receive support when they don't. The cultural disconnect between Italian artistic temperament and American practical expectations creates conflicts that cannot be resolved through passionate gestures or beautiful engineering alone. MV Agusta discovered that Americans expect their $25,000 motorcycles to actually work consistently, receive warranty support that doesn't require international law degrees, and have parts availability that operates on timescales shorter than geological epochs. This unreasonable expectation of basic customer service conflicted with MV Agusta's traditional business model of creating beautiful motorcycles for wealthy Europeans who consider mechanical unreliability part of the authentic Italian experience. You managed to actually purchase an F4, which required more luck than winning lottery tickets, more persistence than stalking celebrities, and more faith than religious pilgrims seeking spiritual enlightenment through mechanical suffering and financial sacrifice to Italian engineering gods. Their dealer network consists of approximately 3 locations spread across a continent larger than most European countries, making service appointments require cross-country pilgrimages that would impress medieval religious travelers and anyone who's ever tried to find decent Italian food in rural Wyoming during a blizzard. Parts availability operates on geological timescales that make continental drift seem speedy, with simple maintenance items taking longer to arrive than ice ages and the complete formation of mountain ranges through tectonic plate movements. MV Agusta's business model apparently involves creating the most desirable motorcycles on Earth, then making them virtually impossible to own, maintain, or enjoy, like opening the world's most exclusive restaurant that's only accessible by helicopter during thunderstorms while wearing formal attire. Think MV Agusta's disappearing act was frustrating enough to drive you to therapy? Number 3 will make you nostalgic for their occasional presence. Bimota decided America wasn't worthy of their engineering excellence, which is like Michelin-starred chefs refusing to cook for people who actually appreciate good food. Bimota builds motorcycles so exclusive and sophisticated that they make Swiss watches seem mass-produced and accessible to common people with reasonable budgets and realistic expectations about luxury goods availability. Their production numbers are so limited that finding 2 Bimota owners in the same state requires coordination between federal agencies and possibly intervention from international motorcycle enthusiast organizations. Each Bimota motorcycle is essentially a rolling prototype that represents the pinnacle of Italian engineering artistry, making ownership feel like being selected for an exclusive club that most people don't even know exists. The waiting lists for new Bimotas are longer than those for organ transplants and require similar levels of patience, dedication, and possibly divine intervention to actually receive your mechanical masterpiece. Bimota's American abandonment stems from their discovery that Americans actually expect to ride their motorcycles regularly instead of displaying them in climate-controlled garages like mechanical art installations. American riders commit the unforgivable sin of actually using their Bimotas for transportation, track days, and weekend adventures, causing wear and tear that horrifies Italian engineers who designed these machines as rolling sculptures that should be admired from respectful distances. The company's philosophy treats motorcycles as kinetic art that occasionally moves, rather than transportation devices that people depend on for actual riding enjoyment, creating fundamental conflicts with American motorcycle culture that emphasizes function alongside form. Bimota engineers apparently weep when they discover their creations accumulating mileage and showing signs of actual use, like museum curators watching visitors touch priceless paintings with greasy fingers. The company realized that American motorcycle culture emphasizes practicality, reliability, and actual functionality over pure aesthetic beauty and engineering artistry, creating fundamental philosophical conflicts that cannot be resolved through diplomatic negotiations. Bimota motorcycles are meant to be mechanical poetry that occasionally moves, not transportation devices that people depend on for daily commuting or weekend recreation. Their American exit wasn't announced with press releases or corporate statements. They simply vanished like motorcycle magicians who forgot the part about reappearing for the grand finale, leaving confused customers wondering if they imagined the entire brand experience. You owned a Tessie, which made you part of an exclusive club smaller than astronaut programs, more secretive than government agencies dealing with classified information, and more elite than secret societies that control global financial markets from underground bunkers. Finding another Bimota owner in America requires detective skills that would impress FBI profilers, social networking abilities that would make professional matchmakers jealous, and dedication to impossible causes that would inspire motivational speakers to write entire books about your commitment to mechanical excellence. The engineering brilliance that made Bimota legendary becomes completely irrelevant when the company treats an entire continent like it doesn't exist, making their technological innovations as useful as submarine screen doors or solar-powered flashlights for midnight cave exploration. If Bimota's snobby exit made you feel rejected, Number 2's betrayal will make you question international friendship treaties and NATO alliances. Husqvarna sold their soul to corporate overlords and abandoned their American adventure faster than tourists fleeing questionable street food. Husqvarna's acquisition by KTM turned them from Swedish independence and Nordic engineering excellence into Austrian corporate puppetry, making business decisions that prioritize European markets while treating America like an afterthought that occasionally sends money but doesn't deserve consistent attention or respect. The Swedish heritage that made Husqvarna special was systematically dismantled by Austrian accountants who viewed brand identity as an unnecessary expense rather than a valuable asset worth preserving and nurturing. KTM's corporate efficiency eliminated the quirky Swedish character that made Husqvarna motorcycles distinctive, replacing it with generic Austrian engineering that prioritizes cost reduction over cultural authenticity. The transformation was so complete that modern Husqvarnas bear no resemblance to their Swedish ancestors, except for the name badges that now feel like false advertising to anyone who remembers the brand's original identity. The real reason behind Husqvarna's American retreat isn't corporate strategy that sounds impressive in quarterly earnings calls. It's because KTM executives discovered that maintaining separate Husqvarna and KTM dealer networks in America costs more than small country defense budgets while generating customer confusion that would make psychology professors write research papers about brand identity disorders. American riders couldn't figure out why they needed two Austrian companies selling virtually identical dirt bikes with different colored plastic. The market research showed that most customers couldn't distinguish between Husqvarna and KTM products without reading the name badges, making the separate brand strategy about as effective as selling identical hamburgers under different restaurant names in the same food court. KTM's solution was typically Austrian in its efficiency. Eliminate the confusion by eliminating one of the brands from American markets, saving money while disappointing customers who specifically chose Husqvarna for reasons that Austrian executives couldn't understand or appreciate. KTM's bean counters realized they could eliminate Husqvarna's American street bike presence, redirect those resources toward European markets, where people appreciate subtle differences between nearly identical motorcycles, and avoid the headache of explaining to confused American dealers why they're selling competing products from the same parent company. This brilliant strategy saves money while simultaneously alienating customers who specifically chose Husqvarna for their Swedish heritage. Their street bike lineup disappeared from American shores like evidence from crime scenes, leaving dealers with empty showrooms that echo with the ghosts of Swedish engineering, and customers with orphaned motorcycles that depreciate faster than cryptocurrency during market crashes. You bought a Vitpilon thinking you were getting Scandinavian minimalism and design excellence that would make IKEA jealous, but instead got corporate confusion, parts availability that makes Swedish furniture assembly seem straightforward, and customer service that operates on Viking-era communication timelines. The remaining dirt bike presence feels like consolation prizes for a market they've essentially abandoned, like offering breadcrumbs to people who expected full meals and reasonable customer service that acknowledges their existence. Husqvarna's American strategy now resembles someone trying to maintain long-distance relationships through occasional text messages and birthday cards that arrive 3 weeks late, wondering why the romance died and customer loyalty evaporated like morning dew in desert climates. We reach our number 1, the ultimate betrayal that makes Benedict Arnold look like a patriotic saint. Erik Buell Racing didn't just leave America, they were America. Born from American innovation before committing corporate suicide so spectacular, it deserves its own documentary series. Erik Buell Racing represented pure American motorcycle innovation at its absolute finest, creating bikes so uniquely brilliant they made European manufacturers nervous about their technological superiority and market dominance in performance categories they thought they owned permanently. The company's engineering solutions were genuinely revolutionary, not just marketing gimmicks designed to differentiate products in crowded markets, but actual technological advances that solved real problems in motorcycle design and performance. Erik Buell's vision of American motorcycle manufacturing proved that domestic companies could compete with and exceed the performance of established European and Japanese manufacturers when given proper resources and management support. The racing success of Buell motorcycles demonstrated that American engineering could produce world-class performance machines that didn't need to apologize for their origins or make excuses for their capabilities compared to foreign competition. Erik Buell Racing's spectacular implosion wasn't caused by foreign competition or market forces. It was pure, concentrated American business incompetence that would make Harvard Business School professors use it as the ultimate case study in how to destroy revolutionary technology through catastrophically poor management decisions. The company possessed genuinely innovative engineering that put fuel in frames and oil in swing arms, creating motorcycles so advanced they made traditional designs seem primitive, yet somehow managed to go bankrupt while sitting on patents worth millions. The irony was particularly bitter because Erik Buell Racing had everything needed for success: revolutionary technology, passionate engineering team, racing pedigree, and customers eager to purchase their innovative motorcycles. Yet corporate mismanagement destroyed it all with efficiency that would be impressive if it weren't so tragically wasteful. The failure represented everything wrong with American business culture, where short-term financial thinking destroys long-term innovation and sustainable competitive advantages that took years to develop and perfect. The financial mismanagement was so spectacular that bankruptcy lawyers probably framed the paperwork as examples of creative accounting that transcends normal business failure into artistic territory. Erik Buell Racing had everything needed for success: revolutionary technology, passionate customer base, racing pedigree, and American manufacturing capability, yet managed to squander it all through executive decisions that would make gambling addicts seem fiscally responsible. But corporate mismanagement of epic proportions and financial decisions that would embarrass gambling addicts destroyed everything faster than natural disasters eliminate poorly planned coastal developments built by contractors who skipped geology classes. You witnessed the death of American motorcycle creativity in real time, watching brilliant engineering disappear because executives couldn't figure out how to sell revolutionary motorcycles to people who desperately wanted to buy them, creating business school case studies about spectacular corporate failure. The liquidation auctions resembled funeral services for American motorcycle dreams, with parts and tooling scattered to the winds like ashes of cremated ambitions and technological innovations that will never be properly developed. Erik Buell Racing's collapse represents everything tragic about American manufacturing, proving that even revolutionary technology and passionate engineering can't survive corporate stupidity and financial mismanagement that would make bankruptcy lawyers wealthy and economists weep for lost opportunities. Their exit wasn't just a business failure, it was the death of American motorcycle innovation, leaving us dependent on foreign manufacturers who treat our market like optional side projects, rather than the birthplace of motorcycle culture and freedom. Thanks for watching. Want to watch more? Click on your screen now.